Howdy, y'all. Let's go on for that. So it cuts the music right there. That's interesting. Hey, what do I care? You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and not worry about that coming back. Holy cow! Paul and Everett and somebody else is out there. Howdy. Yes. I can see that there's people saying hi. Glad to have y'all on board. Oh. And Matt. Howdy, Matt. Matt subscribed to my channel. I subscribed back to Matt's channel today. Don't know much about Matt, but hey, if you're brave enough to subscribe to mine, I'm probably brave enough to subscribe to yours. Now, for any of y'all who are out there and a little bit confused, it's Friday. And I don't normally do cigars except for every Friday. Just a guy from Richmond, Virginia. Hey, I've been to Richmond, Virginia. But it's been such a long time ago now, I don't remember so terribly much about it that I could sit there and have long discussions about it. I just remember there was a lot of open countryside and hills that bordered on mountains. Pretty place to visit. I mean, when I was out there, it was. Just saying. Going with the punch today. So last night, in case everybody missed it, yes, I ate some really, really weak Carolina Reaper cheese puffs. But they were Carolina Reaper cheese puffs. Man, look at there. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can't show this to you a little bit closer. This is getting the perfect amount off of the cap. And I'm willing to bet it's not gonna show up. Let's try it. There we go. All of that came out. That is all the cap. All of it. And that will be going into a pipe later. But it'll leave you a perfectly good indention hole. It should look just about like that. Yeah, it does kind of look like a bug. Don't worry. It'll bug you when it doesn't look like a bug. So, gentlemen, pretty much I don't have much to talk about today. I have been seeing how people in America are not aware of the big major tax hike that it looks like tobacco is about to get stuffed with. But we've been talking about that for the last 6 days, solid. If you need to look at that, go find Mama's bill or Mama's proposal or something Mama's, and then somewhere down there in section 4, there's hidden this whole thing about how they're going to tax the ever-loving crap out of the tobacco industry. So if you like yourself a nice pipe or a cigar or cigarettes, you might want to be aware of it. Dunhill London mixture, nice. Howdy, Steph. Yeah, some of the crazy parts are, and this is something Mike touched on. Just touched on. He said, as a whole, the tobacco industry needs to go ahead and take a solid week off. Just 1 week. Where nobody buys a pack of cigarettes. Nobody buys a can of chew. Nobody buys anything that deals with tobacco. And contact the full Senate and say, this is what happens when you decide that you are going to tax the tobacco industry into a coma. We're going to show you what a week's worth of tax revenue is, and we're going to remind you that that could be a permanent thing. And believe me, they're going to start looking at those numbers when they come in and they see that they didn't collect a damn thing on a couple of multi-billion dollars worth of tax a year, and they can see that they can really be affected. Well, you know, what they'll come down to is starting to see if we're just trying to make money on this stuff, this is not going to be the right way to go. Most of the people that are using tobacco of some sort are well educated. You start hitting the bottom line like that, people in the office are going to have to start taking notice. Just a statement. Just a statement. So, Steph, I'm expecting full well that I'm going to be having your all-time favorite weather here anytime now. So if you've got things to do, just put your headphones on and relax, because I'm fully expecting it's going to be raining here in a minute. The clouds are moving by at a rapid pace. It feels wet. fact, y'all might see me moving the whole studio around just to keep the phone from getting soggy. I can get wet, it'll be fine. My phone and my tablet gets wet, yeah, not so much. Everett, if that bill actually passes, I think that company called Whole Leaf Tobacco is going to be an overnight sensation for almost every person on the planet, because nobody's going to be able to afford anything else. And nobody's going to try it. Marlboro will go out of business. All those cigarette companies, they'll go out of business. Got to think about it. Right now, people are paying $6 to $8 for a pack of cigarettes. That's in Texas. Don't get me quoting wherever it is that you're from that it might be more expensive or whatever. Texas is fairly lax on that. Cliff, are you drinking your turkey or are you eating turkey? But yeah, I'll be looking at trying to figure out how to roll my own cigars, because there's no way in hell that I'm going to be paying, right now, like I was saying, cigarettes somewhere between $6 and $8 a pack in Texas. They're talking about it'll be somewhere between $10 and $12 a pack. Box of cigars going up extensively. Every single cigar going up extensively. Every little bit of pipe tobacco going up extensively. Wait, Paul, turkeys are stupid. They'll literally stare at the sky when it's raining so that they can drown. And as I've said before, the only good turkey pours out of a bottle. I'm a firm believer of that, and I believe a certain guy from Cincinnati also believes pretty much the same way I do. Just saying. Okay, you can hate me all you want. Just, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't believe that I'm going to be continuing to smoke half as much as I do right now. You know what? I think I do know this guy from Villarrica, but I think that's in Chile. Pretty sure his name is Jose. Hola, Jose. ¿Cómo estás? And if you happen to be from some country and you'd like some form of greeting on a regularized, and you let me know, I will make the attempt. I will make the attempt to learn enough of whatever language that happens to be. Of course, you're going to have to speak it fluently enough to correct my crappy pronunciations. No, Garfield's dude was John. I like how Jose calls him Dr. Higgins. But yes, dentist is a form of doctor. Here's one for Cliff. Cliff will know the answer to this one. Hey, Cliff, what do they call the person that graduated at the bottom of a doctorate course? I'll go ahead and answer. Doctor. Howdy, Skip. Skip shows up and so does the rain. It's been threatening all day. It's not raining so hard yet that you can actually hear it. And if I'm not looking across the street so that I can see it coming in, then it really wouldn't be visible for me. But I know what I'm looking for. Suddenly the street's wet and I've got little drops on the bricks over here. Not these bricks. There's some right out here on the sidewalk. So yesterday, I'm going to go into the weirdness that Mother Nature is having some psycho tendencies. 4 days ago, 80 degrees. 3 days ago, 80 degrees. Yesterday, it got up to 67 degrees. 4 days ago, 40% humidity felt really nice. 3 days ago, 50% humidity still felt really nice. No problem, Cliff. We'll keep from asking you too many questions. That's because we don't want you to have to show up and prove to us that everybody was kung fu fighting. I'll stop there before any copyright strikes or violations are filed. Just is what it is. Okay. So yesterday, it got all the way up to 67 degrees. But it was like 95% humidity. Today, I wake up, it's 75. It's going to stay 75 all day. No temperature variation at all. And it's hovering somewhere between 95% and 100% humidity all day. Mother Nature has gone off her meds. And we know for a fact that there's a certain person who's driving home who is now outlawed from certain beach property in Alabama. No matter how good of a deal that they send him, he should never go back. Oh, 75% or 75 degrees Fahrenheit, just in case anybody's looking at the Celsius and going, holy crap, that's hot. No, Fahrenheit. Now, the 95 to 100% humidity really doesn't bug me until it drops below about 65. But once it drops below 65, it's like if you're outside, it's like sitting in a swimming pool where the water temperature is only 60 to 65 degrees. At first, it feels great. And then it starts getting to the point where it's dropping your core temperature, and it really doesn't feel so great anymore. Got to remember, you can get hypothermia and actually die from 50-degree water. Oh yeah, go ahead, Skip, rub it in. 9% humidity. But at least I don't have to use a humidor to enjoy a cigar. A drying rack maybe, but not a humidor. More rain coming in. Listen up, Steph, it's coming. And for those of y'all who don't understand, if you've ever lived in Houston and then you go live in some place like El Paso, you do not realize how much you will miss the sound of rain. And then you're away from it forever. And Houston's one of those crazy locations where when we talk about rain, we don't talk about just a little bit. We talk about buckets. It comes down in 5-gallon buckets. One raindrop, we don't call it rain. We're just like, interesting. Willis Point. God, I haven't seen Willis Point in forever. Big Jube. I try to sing you the Air Force song, but well, with my singing voice and the fact that I don't know the song, my son would know the song. Oh, Odessa. And now you live in Milwaukee. Now, Paul, don't get me wrong. When you lived in Odessa, you did not have rain. I understand that. And your water was so alkaline that it was like brushing your teeth with sandpaper. I understand that too. Jim's letting us all know he's got a mouse in his pocket. He's using the Royal Wii. Or maybe it's the Nintendo Wii. And I thought it was Wild Blue Yonder, not Wonder. Did they change that? Or was that autocorrect trying to screw with you? I mean, yonder is not one of those things that's actually a common phrase anymore. Unless you get into rural parts of Texas and then, yeah, it's over yonder. You better pay attention to what direction they're pointing, because You could go forever just to find where in the hell yonder was. Let's see. Vegas is roughly over yonder. You know, but the song was written shortly after the Air Force broke away from being the Army Air Corps. Which I'm not sure exactly what date that officially was, but it had to have been right around World War II. Because Chuck Yeager was in the Army Air Corps, and then suddenly he was in the Air Force. Don't blame me. I didn't write military history. September 18th, 1947. I knew this Pine Piper would know. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. I will probably not remember the September 18th, but I did know that it was right after World War II. The funny part is that officially makes breaking the sound barrier an Army Air Corps record, not an Air Force record. Because look up the date that the speed of sound was first broken by Chuck Yeager. Now, that's kind of a sore point. The Brits say that they actually did it before Chuck Yeager did, but they kept it quiet. And there were plenty of people that actually broke the sound barrier before Chuck Yeager did it. But Chuck Yeager was the first one to officially be recorded doing it and live to tell about it. But that goes all into engineering and stuff. We're not here to discuss engineering and stuff. Miller High Life. Miller High Life for our desert low life. I know I probably shouldn't say it like that, but I'm pretty certain that Jim understands that I'm just playing. Now, for all of y'all who have not been here for a while or y'all don't understand, I'm a little abrasive. I wrote in on the description, this channel is not for anybody who's under a certain age or is easily offended. Somewhere between the Army and a bunch of, oh, hey, gotta go cut some grass. Well, if it is cannabis sativa, you're not supposed to tell us about that. But then again, maybe Richmond is allowed. I don't know. Here in Texas, we're not. Matt, be careful out there. You can get hurt all kind of ways cutting a patch of grass. We'd like to see you safe and coming back. And it's best I can tell you right now. Well, Jim, between my raised by a Navy vet and life in the Army, and after that being a construction hand and working oil rigs and stuff like that, I'm a little rough, like 20 grit butt wipe rough, John Wayne kind of paper. I know it. I realize it. But I'm not going to change it, so I might as well just warn people right from the get-go. It's so much easier than having them come back and say, "Oh, you hurt my feelings." You set out to have your feelings hurt. I did what you wanted me to. Come on. Back in high school, I was a scrawny little kid, picked on a lot. Not too many people picked on me more than just a few times, though. Mostly because I got a mean streak that's just not. I ate them. They were good. Spicy, but good. They weren't so spicy that I couldn't handle it, but they definitely got the nose running. I like food that gets my nose running. I like that warm feeling that starts in the pit of your stomach and just seems to grow and radiate up. Now, I'll tell you, death nuts didn't start in the pit of your stomach. It started right at the top of your head and went through your toes and about 10 feet below ground and kept coming. That stuff was ridiculous. Those cheese doodles were nothing. I feel like I let y'all down by hyping them up. But it said Carolina Reaper. Jim, there's so many people out there that have my address. And what are you thinking of sending, Jim? I mean, I already told somebody to send me crickets. The sour cream and onion crickets, man, that sounded good. Won't touch nothing on the SERE training, SEER training. We got our damn SEER trainer to be a freaking Green Beret. Great. Not just a little bit crazy, but like a lot bit crazy. He's like, "Oh, look, here's your MRE. Here, add a couple of earthworms in with those eggs." What? Like, yeah, they're good for protein. Eat them up. What? We did some weird things. Come on, Jim. You went through some SEER training. I know you did. Oh, that's right. SEER. SEER. I always forget how. See, the R for me always flips, because I remember resist and evade. Survive, evade, escape, resist. That's what the 4 letters stand for, and which order. That was a close on 30 years and a shit ton of beer ago. Okay, sometimes it is SERE. I don't remember. I remember being a young kid scared out of my damn mind. I was only 17 when I went through SEER training. Their survives, escape, and evade portion I had hands down. The resist portion I'm not sure I could have gone through. So I made sure I didn't. It's like playing hide and seek in the woods and in the Carolinas, specifically Jackson, Fort Jackson, that is. You get off in the swampy stuff and where there's a good possibility that you're going to run into various snakes and possibly leeches and various other things. Yeah, if you're willing to go to the extreme of getting into places where humans should not have gone in the first place, chances are they're not going to come after you. I didn't bring the bourbon out with me, Jim. Sorry, with the rain situation like it is, I don't feel like watering down my bourbon. But we'll save some of that statement there for Martin. You could have said that was for Sis. I would have known who you were talking about, Jim. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I got it. So, real quick, let's do the quick rundown here. After me is going to be Chad. That's yardism. After yardism is cane rod. After cane rod is over a pipe. Actually, somewhere in the middle of cane rods, technically, is over a pipe. After that, everybody kind of says good night. But if you're careful and you're still awake, you might be able to catch Philip Rivera on. Then we go to Saturday. If my wife's sleeping, we'll start with tailgating. And then move on to Steph and Skip. And then move on to the virtual pipe club. And then it would be, normally there's a show on with Simon. Let's see. Rambling Dilettante comes on, and then All Briared Up. Sunday, then there's Steve and Kathy. Now, if anybody remembers anything that I'm missing. Oh, yes, that's right. The all-female, either widows or wives or girlfriends or, members of the YTPC on their own volition. Y'all are welcome to join Steph, not Skip, just Steph and Kathy as they put on their Zoom meeting tomorrow. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to get real busy about getting an email over to Steph so that she can get you the invite set out. Really? It's only SERE? I thought it was SERE. I was going to accept your SEER as the correct one. I figured being that you were in for 20 plus years, you would know. 8 years now. It was like flip a quarter, and by the time it hits the ground, you're already out of there. Outnumbered. I can see someone watches Fox News. No, not seared steaks, but you do sear a good steak. Well, my brain does work pretty good there, Jim. But with dyslexia, sometimes my letters get reversed and I have to just really go, I don't know. It takes me twice as long to read a book as it should. But it only takes me half as long to understand what I read. Some of my high school teachers somehow got me a invitation to join Mensa. They did those IQ tests way back in the day. I said, thanks, nah. As long as y'all think I'm smart, I'm good. That's when I thought Mensa was actually a mental facility. How you like that cigar band? Yes, my ring size is Robusto. Hey, what can I tell you? Reds, I agree with you entirely. Steph, you do not need a bookshelf. You do not need a bookshelf. What you really need is one of those wire racks that holds about 1,000 pounds that you can get more racks for. Because that way you can really stack them in there. More McBarons? Woohoo! You go, Jim. You can't put a wire rack up in a rental? I mean, they make them at, they've got them at Home Depot. They're pretty easy. Yeah, Jim, you gotta remember, when you get your 10, you beans that sucker and be done with it. Let all the smell out. Yeah, but Steph, those things disassemble in a couple of minutes. At least the ones I'm talking about. The chrome silvery ones. Almost all my furniture ended up being wire racks when I've lived by myself. Too much time talking, not enough time smoking. Everett Young likes steaks the same way as Martin. Blue rare. I like mine just a freckle past medium rare. Personally. But I can almost never get the chef to understand. Look, go to medium rare, count to 3, then pull it off. It's pretty simple. Jim's got a sign for his package of McBaron. One of these days I'm going to have to get with Jim and start discussing actual beer recipes. I remember from my days in the Army, there was a Dutch brown beer, and I do not know the name of it, but there was a brown beer from, and I just remember it being called Dutch brown beer. Steph, I will check on that. Let me see. Yes, Steph, just like those. Absolutely correct, Steph. Just like those. You can put them up in a couple of minutes. You can take them down in a couple of minutes. They store flat, and if you pay attention to what you're doing, you take that top one off, you flip it upside down, and then as you're disassembling the whole thing, all the pieces go into the top one, and then you put the next layer on top of that, and you just put a couple of little pieces of Scotch tape on the sides or at the corners or whatever, and all your parts stay right there, and one little Ziploc bag, and you're done. It packs nice and flat. Boom, it goes with you wherever you're going. Anyways, yes, these little wire racks, like Steph just sent me and asked if that's what I was talking about, because she knows my actual phone number. So I can check those things right here live. I might not be able to show the whole crowd, but yes, Steph, that's exactly what I was talking about. Those things are great for food storage. And if you move from one location to a bigger location, they're easy to position wherever. And if it ends up out in a garage, it's okay because, hey, no big deal. And then if they get really, really dusty or dirty or something, you can take everything off of them, drag them outside, and spray it off with a hose. Makes for a good, quick cleanup. Also works real well for bottled beer storage. I'm thinking Jim might be interested. Because what you do is you put all the full ones on the bottom and you put the empty ones on the top. And then you put the clean ones right there where you can reach in and grab them as you're bottling. And with nothing more than a tarp, you can box it off so that light doesn't get in if you're worried about light for any reason. And some things, yes, light will affect how it ages or stores. As far as who stores beer, well, if you brew your own beer, you are going to store some beer. I've never met anybody that can drink a firkin beer. Before anybody thinks that I'm using bad language, that is firkin. And the only person I've ever heard of that can sit and drink a firkin beer was Andre the Giant. He's not alive, and I never met him. Don't blame me. Speaking of Andre the Giant, funny story about him. He was one time going to pick somebody up from someplace. I don't remember where, but it was a friend of his that was traveling. And he just wanted a quick little snack, so he ordered a salad at the restaurant he was sitting at. And the waitress made some off comment like, "That's it?" So he said, "Fine, bring me the menu." She came back bringing him a menu, and he said, "No, bring me the menu. All of it. I want all of it." How many people do you know who could sit down and just eat that much? I mean, other than me and Andre the Giant. And what's his name? Joey Chestnut. Of course, that's probably only hot dogs and milk. Oh, God. You don't mean Charlie is going to outdo himself. Some of y'all make such hilarious videos that I am very, very much jealous. But I sit there and I just laugh and laugh and laugh because it's hilarious. I wish I kind of could be that funny. Other than funny looking. don't know. Cliff's kung fu mastery was pretty awesome, but the alien interviews was fairly outstanding. Not trying to cast shade or anything on anybody, but I think we all remember the alien interviews. At least we should all remember the alien interviews. Barefoot chicken wing, yeah. There was that too. Uh-oh. My early morning video from yesterday finally got a reply from the volunteer piper. It had something to do with falcon pipes and, you know, somebody named Glenn who makes bowls for falcon pipes and makes square shit round. By the way, howdy Chad. We are looking forward to seeing Chad for real here in just a minute. Not much, Chad, just hanging out. As per always, just looking forward to hanging with you, bud. Me, I'm having the traditional black market Robusto. I might worry about 25 and 26. In case y'all are wondering, the cigar leaf at the Alec Bradley factory, the particular building that burnt all the way down was one of their leaf drying and storage barns. Part of the problem with that is the particular barn, very large size building, it housed a certain leaf that is used in about 90% of their cigars. Mr. T, howdy. Nothing much, Mr. T, but we're only about 5 minutes away or less from Chad going live, which is when I kick all of y'all out anyways and we all go over and harass Chad. I'm telling you, Cliff, stop hunting them other than at the liquor store. You can hunt all the bottles of turkey that you could handle right there at your local liquor store. Not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. It is kind of fun to hunt turkeys, though. Howdy, Badger. Glad to see you today. So y'all remember, this is just a regularized place to sit around and wait, hang out, bullshit with your friends and family. That's what we are. We're all friends and family here. And that's what we do. We hang out, we wait for the next show. Having a good time. Y'all get to listen to me ramble on a little bit. Oh, that's right. Cliff has also used this particular location to purchase pipes. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if Phil Rivara or Mike from Briar Blues or any of these other pipe makers or pipe sellers happen to be in the chat and you want to talk to them specifically about purchasing a pipe, I'm great with that. I highly recommend it. This is our chat. This is not my chat. This is our show. It's not my show. If y'all weren't here, I wouldn't be doing this. There's no reason to. Friday is already chock full of people. But I like hanging out with y'all enough that I come out here and do this. And like any time that this is a tailgate situation, feel free to talk about whatever you want to. I might know the subject and I might not. And I have no problem saying, I don't know. I am thinking about one day being able to happily have a Jay Mouton and a Phil Rivara. I'm also happily thinking about one day finishing up a diamond shake pipe. But with the weather today, I didn't do anything on the pipe. Sprinkling on and off, I can't control the weather, and my shop area, as you can see, is outside. Which means I got to work between the rain clouds. I tell you what, if anybody hasn't seen the pipe that just recently got delivered to Martin at Over a Pipe, then y'all been missing out. Oh, tobaccopipes.com is going to have some Jay Mouton pipes. Nice. I guess that's when you know you're hitting the big leagues, is when the big dogs start coming for your pipes. I just hope that they keep pricing down to a reasonable price point instead of jacking them up to a completely unobtainable level. But if they really, really do jack up the price, I hope that Jay Mouton sees at least 90% of that profit. Because it's not right that he would be selling them at the prices that I've seen, and then they go put a $300 price tag on something, and you're going like, I could buy it from him right down the street for less than half that. Hey, Chad's live? All right. Well, everybody, time to go visit with Chad. Thank y'all so much for being here. I am so happy that y'all were able to be here with me today. As per always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Do the best you can on that. And as I've always said, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see you on Chad's station soon. End.